Let's go.
If you were to right now line up every single character that has ever been playable in the history of Street Fighter's games, you would have a scrumptious, delicious, finger-licking good buffet in front of you. But in that buffet, what about the stuff they got in the back? What about what never made the cutting room floor? What about those cool as hell Street Fighter characters that are in the Street Fighter canon but never got a chance to be playable? Well, today, let's meet some of them. You eat today, you drink today. Good. My name is Heino Breezy. I hope you are doing well, and welcome to Enter the Heat of Battle. Now sit back, relax, grab a snack, and make it toasty while you like, subscribe, and hit that bell button as we get ready to
Enter the heat of battle.
Now, Dhalsim is one of the most iconic characters in the history of Street Fighter and fighting games as a whole, and that is because he can take the art of yoga and harness it to be able to shoot flames from his mouth and turn his body into Plastic Man or Mr. Fantastic or Luffy, take your pick. However, he is not the only person in Street Fighter's universe that knows how to take the power of yoga and use it at its full potential. That's right, Dhalsim is only one of 7 of the world's finest yoga masters. Now, you first hear about him when you play through Rashid's character story in Street Fighter V, but you actually get some detailed info about him when you head over to Shadowloo's Combat Research Institute, a website where a bunch of low-level Shadowloo employees go ahead and go through all of the data that they can find on the different people and organizations that are running around the Street Fighter world. So basically at the time, it was Capcom's personal lore dump truck. And that dump truck is where we're going to get all the key info for all the characters that we talk about today. And the first one I want to talk about is one of Dhalsim's fellow yoga masters. So we're going to go ahead and go from India to New York with Sheila. And the reason I picked Sheila over the other 6 is because she's pretty much the exact opposite of the type of yoga master you get with Dhalsim. You see, where Dhalsim is much more of a hermit and only really focuses on the essentials of life, as well as dedicating himself to the spiritualism that comes with yoga, Sheila, on the other hand, is basically what you get if you mix Billy Blanks with Richard Simmons. She is this extremely popular celebrity in Street Fighter's world that got famous off of her workout tapes, where she teaches you the basics of yoga that she learned in India. And I think if they made her playable and really focused on giving her this 80s jazzercise aesthetic, something real bright and in your face and out there to contrast Dhalsim's more down-to-earth type vibe, she'd basically be the Street Fighter version of Wii Fit Trainer. Along with that, I can see her being some sort of stance fighter like Gen, where each different stance is a different yoga pose. Or maybe she could have some sort of Street Fighter 3 taunt mechanic that gives her a buff of some sort, with each stance having its own dedicated taunt. So you get a different selection of buffs with each yoga pose. But let's go ahead and move on to a character that's connected to Dhalsim, to a character connected to Cammy. And this one is kinda cheating, cause he is playable, just not in a Street Fighter game. He's actually playable in a game I'm gonna do a video on in the future, Cammy's spin-off game, Cannon Spike. And the character that I want to focus on from Cannon Spike is Sheba. Sheba is this cyberpunk style skateboarding world champion who joins up with Delta Red, for those that don't know, that's Cammy's military unit, to help them fight terrorism. And by his side when he's out on missions, you can find Akabi, this little fire robot. So it's kinda like if Tony Hawk had joined up with G.I. Joe and ended up tag teaming with one of those dudes from the movie Elemental. And I know in Street Fighter, Yun also rides a skateboard and that's a big part of his character, but I feel like you can differentiate him from Sheba because since linking up with Delta Red, Sheba rides a hoverboard. And we can incorporate that into his moveset by having a lot of his moves be air only. Maybe give him like a hover or a double jump, or shoot projectiles down like a Buki, or maybe he can place a copy in one spot of the stage and have him shoot down fireballs to make it sort of a hazard spot. Not doing any crazy damage or doing an overhead, but doing slow burn damage over time. Something to put even more pressure on you while Sheba is focusing on rushing you down. Oh shit, maybe his level 3 could be him grabbing you and then flying up into the sky, forming a silhouette right in front of the sun, while Akabi's down on the ground, making this sort of flame tornado, right? And Sheba can go at like Mach 5, going straight down to throw you straight into that fire tornado while doing a pose in front of it. You know, something that would be real flashy, because I feel like Sheba would be one of those characters that is insanely fun to watch as a spectator, but his bitch ass would be one of the most annoying characters to play against. But now that we're finished up with Sheba, let's go ahead and keep things in the Cammy circle for a little bit, because recently in Street Fighter's story, Cammy has been taken care of and living with people that used to be dolls in M. Bison's army. And obviously the only ones besides Cammy that get talked about are the other playable ones, Julie, Junie, and DeCapri. But there are so many other cool ones that I feel could get their own chance in the spotlight. That brings me to Shaou. Like all the other dolls, Shaou was kidnapped by Shadaloo and used as an assassin / backup body for M. Bison. But thankfully at the end of Street Fighter V, she was freed from her brainwashing and given a new lease on life. Now the reason I picked her over the other dolls is cause I love her cool ass Chinese opera mask look. And if there's one thing you will ever realize about me, is that I will always pick the character with the cool ass mask. She also swings around nunchucks, which is dope as fuck. We can add her to the list of weapon fighters like Vega and Eagle, and I can see her playing like some sort of Rekka type character, maybe as an homage to Fei Long, or she could be another Rushdown. I know Street Fighter 6 fucking loves its Rushdown characters. Or maybe she could be a zoner where she shoots out different energy blasts and energy projections from each swing of the nunchucks. But the more I'm talking about Shaou, I'm remembering that there is a character in KOF, one of my favorite KOF characters, that wears a Chinese opera mask. It's the biggest part of her character and it's done so fucking well, and her name is Mion. So now that I think about it, I don't think I'd want to go with Shaou, just cause in my brain I'd always compare her to Mion. So on to plan B. Another doll who I think would be cool as a playable character would be Mars. Mars is this tech-savvy, introverted super hacker from Germany, and you actually get to fight against her in Street Fighter V story mode. And there, most of her moves are the same as the other dolls that you have to fight against, but she does get some unique moves. And those unique moves are basically just taking her laptop and beating the fucking shit out of you with it. So I think we could do more with that. We could maybe keep her normals to swinging her laptop around, and we can make her specials doing a lot of things with different tech. Calling in airstrikes, summoning in drones, rolling a bomb along the stage. Oh shit, wait a second. Maybe she can hack into and control the different robots that you see throughout World Tour mode. Like maybe for a level 1 or a level 2, dropping one of those big ass refrigerator fuckers on you. Like the models are in the game, so why not use them, you know? Okay, so on to the next one. I'm going to be 100% brutally honest with you right now. This one kind of hurts to talk about, because for all intents and purposes, they should have been playable. They were going to be playable, but he was taken from you, he was taken from me, he was taken from the people. And I'm pretty sure you can already tell who I'm talking about right now. I am talking about King motherfucking Cobra. But for those that aren't aware, originally in Street Fighter 4, King Cobra was going to be a playable character in that game. But instead, the man who came up with the original concept art, Daigo Aquino, the game's art director, Takashi Kamei, and the lovable but infamous Ono, decided to go into a different direction. And that direction ended up being Rufus. And the reason for that was to get people talking. And to an extent, I understand that, because Rufus not only is known for being one of the better characters in Street Fighter 4's competitive scene, but also as a love him or hate him type guy. But he just reinforces how juvenile some characters have gotten around this era of Street Fighter 6, specifically with him and Birdie. Cause they're just giant fat slob jokes. Like, it's cool having an overweight character in a game. I love Bob with a passion. He's in my top 5 favorite Tekken characters. But when you make an overweight character just a fat joke, the joke, it's not that funny. I'm gonna be straight up honest, the joke is not that funny. But you know what? I try to stay positive on this channel. I know and can see why people can like Rufus. He seems really fun to play as. And for the most part, I have been indifferent towards Rufus. But when I saw that they dangled in front of our faces the character that we almost got to play as, the hate is naturally gonna start to build up a bit. But I'ma stop ragging on him because I know you Rufus fans are used to it. I'ma let you have your character. Enjoy him. Love him with every inch of your heart. But now it's time to big up and hype up and glaze the King Cobra, baby. King Cobra was described as a breakdancing kung fu fighter. That's right, we could have seen Zack the Black Ranger's hip-hop keto in a fucking Street Fighter game. And not to mention, his design goes so fucking hard. Rocking not a black belt, but a gold belt, matching that with some gold fight gloves. Nigga is bald. And then you pair all that with a fur-lined martial arts uniform. A goddamn silk fake fur gi. How do you get better than that? Just from this outfit alone, I can picture his personality being something like Shaou from The Last Dragon. And now that I say this, how has there been not one single fighting game character based off Shaou? Yep, you know what? If anybody out there designing a fighting game, I am a character designer. If you're looking for somebody to do that for you, hit me the fuck up. I am ready and willing and able. Come on, man. And for his gameplay, he has to do something really flashy, right? And I don't want to say he just straight up would play like Rufus, because I feel like Rufus's gameplay wasn't all that it was until after he was designed and became Rufus. But I bet he would definitely play similar, right? Maybe he'd be like a trickier version of Rufus, maybe having feints that look like dance moves that can go into actual moves. Maybe like a fake dive kick, like it looks like he's getting ready to set up for a dive kick, but does like a backflip into a spin-a-rooney type move or something like that. I don't know how exactly he could play, but I do know that the world would be a better place with King Cobra as a playable character. Now, am I right? I don't know. But you can't prove that I'm wrong. Now on to the next one. So, I know I just said things got a little too silly at times in Street Fighter, but I kinda wanna get silly with it again with this next character, because now we have the Crimson Crawdad. Now, unlike all the characters I'm gonna be talking about today, Crimson Crawdad actually comes from the Street Fighter cartoon. You know, the one where they essentially made it all about Guile and tried to make Street Fighter G.I. Joe? Yeah, that one. See, in the first episode, Guile goes up against this guy named the Crimson Crawdad from Canada. And just from that one scene he is in, you can see that he is loved by his people. Naturally, because he is the local street fighting champion there. And you just have to think, with a guy that dresses like this, and a guy that sounds like this.
Come on, big shot. I hear you used to be somebody.
He could be one of the most lovable, idiotic himbos you could see in Street Fighter. Walk with me for a second. Now, a few months ago, I made a video, actually my most viewed video, about being bad at fighting games. And in that video, I talked about the phenomenon of being too good to play against your friends, but not good enough to actually compete against people that are really good at the game. And that feeling, that state of being too good but not good enough, isn't local to fighting games. There's players that dominate at the college level of basketball but don't do too great when they go to the NBA. Same goes with football and soccer and chess and any other sort of type of competition. So I feel like we can make Crimson Crawdad the personification of feeling like that. He could be a man that does great and is loved by everyone in his hometown, but when he goes out and tries to fight different Street Fighters, he gets absolutely mollywopped. And we can go one of two ways with this, right? We can make him the type of guy that likes to make excuses for his losses, the type of guy that doesn't like to watch back his fights to see what he did wrong, the type of guy that doesn't talk to other fighters to see what they're doing well and what he isn't, the type of guy that perpetually will keep himself in that state of not getting better. Essentially make him a giant jock that's actually a big fucking loser. Or we could make him this guy who got humbled once he left his hometown. Maybe by fighting somebody like Luke, or somebody like Chun-Li, or somebody like Marisa, a character that would absolutely dominate him, but wouldn't hold it over his head, you know? A character that would take him in and be like, hey man, look, you tried your best, you're just not there yet, but you're gonna get there. Then we can have the Crimson Crawdad essentially go on the hero's journey of trying to be better. He could be like an analog to your character in World Tour. Somebody that goes to different Street Fighter characters and tries to learn what exactly makes them strong. We can make him this local hero, a guy that is cheered on and loved by all of the people back home, even when he loses, and when he comes back they will all welcome him back with open arms and embrace him for being their hero. And that love and commitment that he feels from them is going to be what exactly he needs to push him to be better. He may not have all the seasoning that it takes to be a world champion quite yet, but he has all that it takes to be the people's champion. Or just make him like half crustacean like this concept art. Anyway, now we get to a character that is the whole reason that I made this video. A character that I love, a character that I yearn for, a character that I think about often because the opportunities that she represents is endless, because I feel like she was made specifically for me. I can't prove it, but I know in my heart of hearts that is true. Dear viewers and subscribers, please give a warm welcome to my creepy-ass bastard of a wife, the fighting game love of my life, Vivian Nashiki. Now, the reason I love Vivian so much is because she has the potential to fulfill the one archetype of a fighting game character that I feel I need to see before I pass on. She could be the one fighting game deathmatch wrestler. I made a whole video about the different types of fighting game wrestlers that we see. You got your luchadors, you got your Joshi wrestlers, you got your big meaty men slapping meat, but the one subsection of wrestling that I feel can lend itself to fighting games more than any other is hardcore wrestling. Now, deathmatch wrestling isn't my favorite kind of wrestling, but you cannot deny what it can offer. Command normals where you pull out a light tube or a steel chair, a long-range grab with the barbed wire, a super where you spear somebody through glass, a critical art where you set up a pyramid of tables and tombstone pile drive somebody through it, and a critical art where you set those tables on fire. The possibilities are endless for a character like Vivian. In the Street Fighter world, Vivian wrestles for Washigahama Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, a company ran by Yoko Harmageddon. Side note, one of the hardest names to ever exist, but Yoko is actually Armika's trainer that you see in Street Fighter Alpha. That's right, the IJWPW is the company that Armika actually wrestles for. So of course she can't wrestle herself, so there's this entire roster of wrestlers made up just for this imaginary wrestling federation that will never be seen in an actual Street Fighter game. There's Pepe Ishiwata, Maple Storm, and a whole bunch of others, but right now I want to focus on Vivian. Look at this absolutely unhinged fucker. I love her with all of my heart, bro. This gremlin masterpiece right here I feel would be extremely popular if she just got a chance to actually be playable in a game. But honestly, as much as she is my favorite of the people that I put on this list, I could say that for everybody else on the list too. It's really fascinating going through the Shadaloo CRI and seeing all the whatas, couldas, shouldas, and probably never gonna be-as that the Street Fighter world has to offer. I genuinely envy whose job it was to make the Shadaloo CRI, getting to expand on and connect everything that goes on around the world warriors that you get to play as. And I genuinely hope at least one of these characters gets a chance to be a world warrior too. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you know of any other Street Fighter characters that aren't actually playable, but do make up a cool character that could be playable in the future, go ahead and let me know about them in the comments. Do you have a Street Fighter character that you wish was never playable in the first place? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, go ahead and open up that description and see how you can follow me on BLUESKY to keep up with me, my arts, and my videos. If you're feeling gracious and want to help out these videos get better and come out more frequently, you can go ahead and do so by checking out and donating to my Ko-fi. And if you like my art and want to commission me to make a custom piece from me for you, you can do that through my website, also in the description. And finally, once again, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button, please. And with that being said, I know times are tough, but we will get through it. I promise you. I've been Hyena Breezy. I was here, and I did the best I can. Later.